The sun was rising over the island of Fushima. In the distance, the sound of waves crashing against the shore was the only thing that could be heard. But soon, another sound would cut through the calm. Steel against steel, a clash of titans. On this day, the greatest swordsman Japan had ever seen, Miyamoto Musashi, was to face Sasaki Kojiro, a warrior whose skill was as fearsome as his nickname, the Demon of the Western Provinces. Musashi's reputation as an undefeated swordsman had spread far and wide, and Kojiro was no ordinary opponent. Wielding his nodachi, a blade nearly as tall as a man, Kojiro was feared throughout the land for his lightning-quick strikes and unmatched precision. But Musashi was different. A man who fought with more than just his sword. He fought with strategy, with patience, and with unshakable confidence. The two warriors stood facing each other on the beach, the morning mist still hanging low over the ground. Musashi was late, purposefully. He arrived unhurried, stepping off the boat that had ferried him across the straits. His only weapon, a simple wooden sword, a bakken, that he had carved from the very oar that brought him there. The crowd watched in awe. Kojiro's followers, in disbelief, whispered to one another, "A wooden sword? Against the demon?" But Musashi's calm demeanor spoke volumes. He had come prepared, but not with brute strength. His weapon was his mind, sharper than any blade. Kojiro drew his sword first. The giant blade glistened in the morning light as it cut through the air, aimed straight for Musashi's head. But Musashi was faster, reading his opponent like an open book. With a single powerful strike, Musashi deflected the blow and countered with the wooden sword, delivering a death blow to Kojiro's skull. In that moment, the island went silent, save for the wind and the waves. The demon of the Western Provinces fell, the legend of Musashi's sword. Musashi's life, like much of the time he lived in, is shrouded in mystery and uncertainty. What we know comes largely from the Book of Five Rings, his own account of his life and philosophies. He was born in 1584 in the village of Miyamoto in the Mimasaka province of Japan. From the start, life did not show him kindness. His mother died bringing him into the world, leaving Musashi with a legacy of nobility but a deep sense of isolation. His father, Muni, was a fearsome warrior, renowned for his prowess in jujitsu, swordsmanship, and the deadly jita. As a warrior in the Shinman clan, Muni had once dueled before the shogun and defeated his opponent, earning the prestigious title of Heiho Sho, without equal. But Musashi and his father never found peace together. Conflict burned between them like fire and oil. Musashi refused to be subjugated by his father's commands. His stubborn nature, paired with his father's intensity, led to explosive encounters. One day, in a fit of rage, Muni hurled a knife at his 7-year-old son. Musashi dodged, and the blade embedded itself in the wall. This was the moment when Muni disowned his own blood, throwing the boy out into the cold world. Musashi, though barely more than a child, began his path alone. He crossed the Kamasaka Pass into Harima, where his uncle Doran, a Buddhist monk, took him in. Under Doran's roof, Musashi learned not only to read and write but also to meditate, to sharpen his mind into a weapon that would one day rival even his skill with the sword. Though Musashi's uncle sought to guide him toward peace and spirituality, the warrior spirit inside the boy refused to be subdued. Alone in the forest, Musashi would practice for hours, sparring with the trunks of towering pine trees, transforming his father's anger into skill. His fists, his sticks, his rage became his teachers. At 13, fate came knocking. A traveling swordsman, Arima Kihei, pinned a challenge to the local signpost, daring any swordsman to face him. Musashi, just a boy, answered the call. When Kihei saw his challenger, he laughed, dismissing Musashi as a joke. But on the day of the duel, Kihei's laughter turned to terror. Musashi attacked with ruthless precision, wielding a quarterstaff and overwhelming Kihei. He beat the seasoned warrior into the dirt, then to death. From that day, Musashi knew he was destined for greatness. At 16, he left his uncle's home, setting out to perfect his swordsmanship and carve his name in the annals of history. The world would soon tremble at the name Miyamoto Musashi. Musashi's sights were set high. He had heard of the Yoshioka clan in Kyoto, the most prestigious school of swordsmanship in the land. If he could defeat one of their best, his rise to the top would be assured. Without hesitation, Musashi sought out Seijiro, their top swordsman. The duel took place at the Rendai Temple, where Musashi showed the world his true power. He struck first, a sudden, brutal blow with his bokuto, a wooden sword, felling Seijiro before the fight had even begun. The Yoshioka clan, their honor shattered, demanded a rematch. This time Seijiro's brother, Denshichiro, stepped forward to reclaim the family's name. But Musashi was unstoppable. He wrested Denshichiro's weapon from his hands and beat him to death, just as he had done to Kihei years before. The Yoshioka, furious and humiliated, gathered 100 men to ambush Musashi, but their numbers couldn't stop him. Like a storm, Musashi swept through them, cutting down their leader Madashichiro and escaping into the night. Musashi had dismantled an ancient school of swordsmanship in just days. He had no equal. Musashi's victory over the Yoshioka clan cemented his reputation, but he was not yet satisfied. He continued to challenge the greatest warriors across Japan, facing legendary monks skilled in the lance and countless samurai with unmatched swordsmanship. Each duel, each battle, made him stronger. After 7 long years of honing his skills and mastering the way of the sword, Musashi returned to his birthplace, seeking to reconcile with his estranged father. But fate had carved a different path. On the shores of the remote island of Fushima, destiny awaited in the form of Sasaki Kojiro, a feared demon of the western provinces. Kojiro, with his famed sword, Monohoshi Zao, the drying pole, as long as it was deadly, was known for his unparalleled speed and technique. This was the man Musashi had to defeat. Musashi arrived deliberately late, knowing it would fuel Kojiro's impatience and tilt the psychological edge in his favor. Tension built as Kojiro, seething, prepared for a swift kill. But Musashi was calm, wielding only a wooden sword, carved from the very ore that brought him ashore. As the two warriors faced off, the battle seemed timeless. Kojiro's deadly strike missed by a hair, while Musashi, with a precise lightning-fast counter, shattered the demon's blade and delivered a fatal blow. The mighty Kojiro fell, his legend fading like a ghost on the wind. With Kojiro dead, Musashi's victory echoed across Japan. Yet even as Kojiro's enraged followers stormed the shore, Musashi was already gone, vanishing into the sea, becoming more myth than man. The world now knew Musashi as the supreme warrior, but the man himself sought something greater, an understanding of life itself through his art. Though Musashi's relationship with his father had remained cold, he took on the role of mentor with a deep sense of duty. He adopted the young Mikinosuke, son of a fallen comrade, teaching him everything he knew. Musashi's love for Mikinosuke was the closest bond he had ever known. When the boy was bound by honor to commit seppuku after his lord's death, Musashi was devastated. He retreated to the wilderness, broken by grief. In the twilight of his life, Musashi found some solace in training his second adopted son, Iori, and contributing to the great works of art and architecture that would stand for generations. Yet Musashi's heart would always belong to the battlefield, to the clash of steel and the eternal search for mastery. In his final years, Musashi wrote the Book of Five Rings, passing on his wisdom to future generations. But his true legacy is in the heart of every warrior who seeks not only to conquer their enemy, but themselves. On your way out. If you enjoyed what you've seen, don't forget to hit the like and subscribe buttons before heading to your next video. Your support means everything to us and helps us continue bringing you content like this. Thanks for watching.